Bold statement incoming. Insomniac is PlayStation's #1 first-party studio for the PS5. Look, I know it's a big take, but with their recent record, especially on the PS5, there's no denying they know what the F they are doing. From the underrated, crazy, bombastic game that is Ratchet and Clank, to the Game of the Year nominee Spider-Man in 2018 for the PS4 to then be remastered on PS5, and even Miles Morales, Insomniac has proven they can deliver over and over again. Even before they were bought by Sony, they had some great games like Sunset Overdrive and even the Resistance franchise. Now, this does not mean I think the other teams at their PlayStation are bad or anything even close. Santa Monica is obviously amazing with God of War. Sucker Punch gave us Infamous, Sly Cooper, and recently one of my personal favorite games of the previous generation, Ghost of Tsushima. Amazing game, go play it. And Naughty Dog with its Uncharted series. Ha! I bet you thought I was gonna say The Last of Us. I got one word for that series. Overrated! And while I cannot wait to see things like Ghost of Tsushima 2, the eventual sequel to Sly Cooper 4, Santa Monica's next big project, and maybe, just maybe, a new Uncharted game, no one can deny what Insomniac has released over the last 5 years as being nothing short of amazing. From quality and quantity, you cannot deny that all of their games are a step above the norm. That is not to say that you have to like these style of games. Maybe you find Spider-Man's open world average due to things like the open world quests and everything, which is completely fair. Or Ratchet and Clank is too short of a game for you, or you prefer a more realistic, gritty setting. Again, perfectly valid. But to say that any of these games are not made with a level of detail, polish, and quality is just ludicrous, to be perfectly honest. So with all of these praises for Insomniac, how does the new game Spider-Man 2 hold up to the new standard? Does it tell an amazing story? Is the game's performance top-notch for the console? Is the gameplay fun and engaging? Or is it just fine? Like, it's good, but we expected more? Well, we're going to discuss that today. Obviously, spoilers will be later in the video in regards to the story, so I will let you know when we get to that section so you can skip over it and come back later after you finish the game, because, definitely go in blind with this game. Other games, sometimes the story is fine, if you know it, or it's whatever. This game, definitely go in blind. Makes it so much better. All right, enough blabbering, let's get started. Now, real quick before we start, I want to address a few things I've been seeing across in comments, reviews, and other social media platforms. First, let's start with this basic one. I didn't like the first game. Will I like the second one? Okay, this one I've been seeing a lot, and I'm not sure why, but I just have to address it because it feels like it's the same thing with God of War 2018 going into Ragnarok. If you liked the first Spider-Man game, you're already playing this game. You're just watching this because you want to see what my opinions are and either bag on it or agree. That's basically what's happening here. If you enjoyed the first Spider-Man game, you're going to enjoy this game. If you did not enjoy the first Spider-Man game for whatever the reasons are, because obviously it's not a perfect game or anything, then this is not going to convince you that you should all of a sudden like this game, whether it's story, gameplay, missions, etc. This game is an evolution of the first game. It is not a dramatic change like going from something from God of War 3 to God of War 2018. It is not that at all. And if you were expecting that, then I don't really know what to say. I've seen some people make comments about saying, I didn't like the combat in 2018, so I was hoping that maybe this one really would have changed it up. Even though, again, the trailers never showed us that, and it was kind of obvious after the success of both the PS4 game and Miles Morales, that was not going to be the case. They were going to evolve the combat, change things up, add things, take things away, but they were never going to go in a completely different direction or anything like that. So if you didn't like the combat in the first game, you're not going to like it here. I know it might sound like a bit of a, are you seriously asking that type of comment here? But at the same time, it kind of is. I think most people going into this game know what to expect. If you liked the previous type of games, you're going to enjoy this game. If you didn't, then you're not going to, and that's perfectly fine if you don't. I'm not saying you have to like this, but don't go in expecting a completely different change and reimagined game. It's just not happening. All right, second thing I've been seeing online. Is the game really only 17 to 20 hours? Yes, it is. It took me about 17 and a half to maybe 18 hours or so to complete the story. That was doing some of the decent amount of side content and honestly just kind of exploring the city and everything, using the web wings and everything like that, which I personally love. It respects my time and doesn't force me to go off and do a ton of side quests that I don't want to do or collect a bunch of random items I don't care about. It respects your time and you get straight to the good stuff. Some people will like that, some people won't. And I know $70 can be a lot, which is kind of going into the third point, which is this worth the money now or wait for the sale? Again, if you're a fan of the other Spider-Man games, you've bought those already. If you spent your 70 to however much the collector's edition was. But regardless, it actually, in my opinion, is worth it in terms of the price for the hours in terms of the story. If you're looking for a 100-hour game, no, this is not going to be your game. But again, the first one wasn't either. So if you enjoyed the first one, but then all of a sudden want some 100-hour Spider-Man game, I'm sorry, that's just not really the case here. So go play, I guess, Assassin's Creed Valhalla or something if you really want that. Sure, or go play a Battle Royale or a live service game or something like that. But this is absolutely 100% worth it. Now, if finances and money are a little tight, then yeah, absolutely maybe wait for a sale. We got Christmas coming up, we got next year. PlayStation generally has a decent amount of sales going on. Same with Xbox if you want to play some, games over there and everything like that. So keep in mind for that. If you're waiting for maybe like the PC release, it's probably going to be about, I'd say, a year and a half at the very minimum, probably 2 years, give or take. But regardless, if you enjoyed the first game, like I stated beforehand, you will enjoy this game. So with all of that taken care of now, time to talk about what I thought of the game so far. As someone who has completed the full story and is currently at 97% completion, thanks to the spider bots, of course. Now, this is not me rushing through the game to try and get every single itty bitty piece of stuff done so that I can tell you guys about it. I just been having fun. The last time I stayed up till 4 a.m. playing a game was actually Spider-Man 2018, just because it was such a fun game. I think I only stayed up until 2 a.m. for Ragnarok, but I've been playing it since like earlier in the morning and everything. So regardless, I've been getting my hours worth and everything like that. And I'm 100% going to be playing through it again when New Game Plus comes out later this year, which it's coming up in the end of October. And so we don't have much time left. So I'm super excited. And who knows, maybe I'll actually do the hardest difficulty and everything like that. I'm almost got the platinum as well. So definitely looking forward. But anyway, let's talk about some stuff. First, the graphics and the world. Now, I am combining these two just to make things easier. If my intro didn't spoil anything, then this should in terms for Insomniac. These guys are absolute wizards, from artists to graphics to code, every single position. I don't care who you are. A round of applause. Absolute round of applause right now for this world, these graphics, everything. You guys have taken the PS5 and be like, yeah, you bow to us now. That's essentially what they have done. From the city, the add-ons, the crowd and item density and the environments, to the crazy fidelity and the look of this game is truly that next gen. I feel that a lot of people have been disappointed from with these current gen consoles that are the Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5. Now, is it better than a 4090 GPU top-of-the-line PC? No, obviously not, but a console is a more affordable way to enter gaming. And so for those that are only on console, this does truly feel like a next-gen game. It takes advantage of the system now that it doesn't have to deal with the PS4. Now, is the game perfect with no glitches, bugs, or missions not loading or anything like that? No, of course not. This is an open world game. I ran into a few of these funny moments with a character who should have been walking but was actually floating in midair. Another where an enemy literally walked off the building and I laughed for a good straight minute where my fiance was questioning my sanity. Oh, and my personal favorite was an enemy getting stuck in an object or myself. However, a simple reset from the last checkpoint fixed this problem because I simply hit the options button and boom, reset the checkpoint, and I was on my way. Also, personally never really happened in quick succession. The first two were only about 12 hours apart and the other two were a couple days apart, so no biggie. But I think you'll expect these type of things in open world games. Are they annoying? Sure, it happens in every single one, but it never ruined my experience for a game. There have been open world games where, yeah, I run into the exact same bugs, maybe even a little bit more, but the overall game is just so much fun that I kind of just go, okay, you know what? Annoying, reset, we move on. There are other games though where it happens constantly and just big moments and everything, and I'm just like, nope, I'm done. Uninstall or not playing for a while until they fix this. That's just how it is with these types of games. I could keep going on and on about the presentation, the world, and everything, but I want to get into the next point here, and that is going to be the story. Now, this is where I have to throw up a big spoiler warning. So if you don't want to hear about spoilers, go to the timestamp on the screen right now, which will skip this entire section, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, have you clicked off? You gotten a chance? Give me until the count of 1. 3, 2, 1, here we go. All right, this game, woo, man, that story was awesome. I know some people might be tired of hearing first party story driven games and yada, yada, yada. That's what Sony's good at. Why else do you think I've made tons of videos telling them, Sony, drop your stupid live service BS and focus on what you know? Because guess what? It's another home slam.
What?
Because guess what? It's another home run. Now, let's talk about the two games here. The PS4, aka the first one, and this one's story. Is one better than the other? Are there ups and downs compared? Let's talk about it real quick. Overall, both stories, in my opinion, are awesome. Okay? Now, I definitely think in terms of the first game's opening compared to the second game's opening, I think I kind of like the second game's opening better. A combination of the music flying into New York, battling Sandman and everything like that. I think that does a little bit more for me personally in terms of just an opening act and everything compared to the first game, which had some good music and everything, and you got the fixed building and everything like that, and you snuck around and all that. So both were awesome. Personally loved both of them, but I give it to 2 in terms of that moments. Going into the parts like kind of in the middle of the story and everything, dealing with a lot of things like Harry, and obviously having this second Spider-Man that is Miles Morales and everything, and trying to weave that together, which I think they did pretty well overall. I definitely would actually give it to 2 again. I definitely liked it. In terms of the third act, I think personally I'm gonna give it just a smidge. Like, we're talking 0.0001 in terms of some kind of scale. I have to give it to 1 just because seeing the Sinister Six on my screen, especially back when you first played it, cool, man, that was a moment right there. And then of course, I mean, the Doc Ock reveal wasn't exactly surprising or anything, especially if you're in anything and know anything when it comes to Marvel and comics and all that kind of stuff. So that part didn't surprise me, but it was seeing the whole Sinister Six and then Doc Ock just picking you up and chucking your body like a rag doll, essentially. So I think I have to give it to 1 just a little bit. Absolutely loved Kraven as an opponent. I actually thought they did Kraven very well. Then seeing the black suit, and then obviously having Miles fight you to try and get it off and everything, that was very emotional. Love that section, obviously. Venom, oh buddy, Venom was awesome. I mean, no shock, but his voice, the look, the sliminess, the tongue, oh, it hit all the right points, and I absolutely adored it. Again, Kraven was a little bit of a surprise for me, but overall, I definitely enjoyed it. Harry being Venom was fine, I guess. Is either going to be him, Norman, or someone we knew. I definitely at one point thought maybe it was going to be Kraven, but yeah, that whole boss fight with Kraven definitely just squashed that idea and everything like that. So, but again, if you know Spider-Man comics and lore and everything, then it was kind of like a no-brainer. Again, similar to how Doc Ock was in the very first game. Now, I know some people would definitely like it if they kind of branched out away from what we know from Spider-Man from the last 60 plus years, but I'm sure to a point Marvel / Sony / Spider-Man owners and everything probably had a little bit of limitations on what Insomniac can do. I have no idea. I'm just taking a wild guess, but that would be my assumption, because they definitely pull from a lot of comics and then they try to do different things within their own way that they possibly can. So I'm not sure how that all works, but regardless, overall, I thought the story was definitely really well. It's definitely a little bit more faster paced than the first game, I would say. It almost feels kind of similar to how God of War does things, at least with Ragnarok, I would say. But in terms of, you know, again, both stories, absolute A pluses on both sides. It was a great story, and it sets up for some cool stuff going into whatever the third game is eventually going to be. I mean, because let's be perfectly honest, no duh, they're going to have a third game. This one is going to be successful. The last two were successful. Yeah, it's going to happen. Now, I would personally like to see, again, spoilers if you haven't played, because again, some people probably might be hearing some of this stuff for the first time. But hopefully, I would say, let's go about 3 years into the future, give or take. Have Miles kind of in late university stages area of his life, and Peter obviously taking that break and really be able to get his job, or I guess his career, or even that little business of his off the ground, so that it allows him to come back out of retirement to help Miles in this new story. But it's not killing him, because okay, this is gonna sound really weird, because I know it's like the thing of Spider-Man to try and balance life and everything, which by the way, that's literally the entire story, like message essentially, is trying to make sure that you balance your life of being Spider-Man, working, loved ones, all that stuff, right? Part of me has always felt just like, I know it's Spider-Man's thing to be the one hero, or one of the few heroes that everything just goes wrong for him. A majority of things go wrong for him aside from a few things. So I would love to see it in the third game where he comes back and it's like, you know what? I can do this. I can focus on being in the city and helping you as Spider-Man, aka Miles, and I don't have to worry about losing my house or getting fired from my job for the gazillionth time or something like that. So, because especially if you move it into more modern times, which is what they're clearly doing right now, you get to see if he's able to do what he's trying to do at the end of the game here. Then yeah, it's something like, working from home, or being able to do something where you don't have to be there 24/7 in person in the office and everything. Then that can kind of help him with that and kind of, I guess, modernize Spider-Man a little bit. Again, don't chew my head off, pure Spider-Man people and everything like that. Obviously, there's still going to be some conflict, and that's just who Spider-Man is and everything like that. Or maybe Miles is starting to kind of repeat what Peter did, and so Peter kind of has to come in and be like, okay, Miles, I used to do this, let me help you out here and everything. And again, I'm not a storyteller. They're gonna have much better writing than I am just spewing right now. But obviously, whatever the third game is, I'm sure it will be awesome, and it's gonna be cool. One thing I definitely wish, though, that they had done in the story here before we go on to the final bit that I want to talk about before ending the video is just simply the lack of Yuri in this game. If you remember Yuri from the first game, the police officer, and if you played the DLC, she had a big moment in that DLC, and she's back now as Wraith. But I wish that the side story, because they do a side story mission where you simply just get an icon randomly on the map halfway through the story, and if you go and you see it and you're Peter, then you connect with her again and you're helping her take down these bad guys, and it eventually leads to seeing Cassidy getting the symbiote, and we all know who he's eventually going to be, which is Carnage. But I wish that had been brought into the main story instead of just being a side mission. I like that it's there, I absolutely do, but I wish Yuri had maybe been part of the main story in some way. I'm not exactly sure how. Hopefully, if they do bring her back for the third game, she's more intertwined with it, especially because we are 100% going to be expecting to have Carnage and Cassie and all that stuff. But it's hard to say at this particular moment. But I personally wish we had more of her in the game, because I actually really liked the dynamic between her and Spider-Man in the first game. And then to have the DLC focused around her, well, kind of focused around her from the first game, I really missed that in this game. And then because I didn't even see the mission, because the logo for the side mission at the start of it, it was right next to one of the symbiote like hive areas. And so I just, for some reason, my brain was like, oh, they're just two next to each other, so I'll ignore it and I'll do the rest of that stuff after I've completed the story. I wish there had been a way to kind of sneak it in a little bit better. That's just my personal thing, though. Again, doesn't hurt the story or anything. I just personally wish that had been something right there. Okay, welcome back if you're joining us after skipping the story section. We're going to go into our final bit here, just kind of talk about some random things real quick, and then we're going to be on our way. So first off, the open worldness missions and collectibles. It's an open world game. It's New York. If you're expecting New York to look different from the first game, I guess that's what Brooklyn and all that side stuff is for. But whenever I saw the comment of, oh, New York looks the same. Yeah, it's New York. What were you expecting? So yeah, that's all fine with me. It's New York, it's Spider-Man. They go hand in hand, basically. So In terms of the missions and collectibles, yeah, the collectibles are your typical open world fair things and everything like that, but the side missions I actually found, decently enjoyable. I definitely approached it from more of a stealth priority because I personally love the stealth gameplay, especially with the new web line where you can make your own lines and it looks like you're making a spider web. I know you're Spider-Man and all that fun stuff, but it looks like you're making a spider web and I can just zip guys up and stealth around and everything. And I've always loved stealth gameplay like that. So it was home run for me right there. I wish they'd had a couple of those stealth like challenges and everything that we saw from the first game, but again, that's minor nitpicks and everything like that. Again, the collectibles are just kind of whatever. The gameplay loop, it's just an improvement over the first one, and that is by no means a knock against it. First game was awesome. Miles Morales was awesome. This one, I'm sorry, I can't go back to the other games. Like, I can obviously go back to the other games and play them and the story and still have fun and everything like that. But again, this is all of the first game stuff improved for the better. But it is the de facto Spider-Man game for me in terms of gameplay loop, traversal, combat, the whole 9 yards. Absolutely love it. And if we get some DLC, I'm 100% going to buy it. The last thing I want to talk about before going into my final point is just the wingsuit. Some people have kind of knocked it a bit, saying it takes away from the fantasy of swinging around New York. Don't use it then. The only time it actually forces you to use the wingsuit is in the very opening of the game, and then for some of those bird drone things you gotta follow around for a little bit. Other than that, you don't have to use the wingsuits. You can swing to your heart's content. I use it in combination. It adds to the traversal for me. I like to swing around the city, and if there happens to be a moment where it's nothing but rooftops in my way and I can't really reach something, it's gonna slow down my momentum. Yeah, wingsuit out, get over those buildings, get to a next tall one, keep zipping around. That's basically it. So I don't know why people are complaining about that. Again, I know it, some people are just like, I don't like it. No. It's just like, don't use it. Again, it never forces you to. You can literally zip around the entire city and the entire game, not having to use the wingsuit at all. Again, aside from the very first mission, which is like 2 minutes into the game. So other than that, you don't have to use it. You really don't. Obviously, I think it's a great addition to the game. And yeah, going back to play the other games, I'm going to be like, oh man, this is just killing traversal. Not really, but you kind of get the idea. So. Anyway, so my last little bit I just want to quickly talk on is just what's the future for this franchise, essentially? Because we're around 3 games in. Well, obviously, there's going to be a third game. I mean, again, if you heard me talk about it in the story spoilers, then yeah, there's going to be a third game. There's no question about it. So when it comes out, I don't know, I'm going to take a wild guess at 2027. I'm just going to say that right now, kind of ending the current gen consoles life system before going into whatever the PS6 and Xbox, I don't know. Xbox, you got weird names for some of your consoles sometimes. But nonetheless, I highly anticipate some form of third game coming out. Obviously, we're going to see a certain character who is teased at the end of the game. I'm not saying anything. There's probably going to be a return of a couple characters, and due to a particular side mission, we'll probably see another character. But again, I'm interested to see where this story goes, especially because Peter is doing his thing and Miles is doing his thing, and it's going to work, I think. Hopefully. Again, I guess there's a slim chance it doesn't work out, but overall, I'm definitely enjoying it. So with that being said, though, these are my impressions, just my raw thoughts on Spider-Man after playing it for literally the entire weekend. I was up again till 4 a.m. for the first 24 hours it was out. Then I was up again till 3 a.m. and damn, did it destroy my sleep schedule going to work today. But I have had a blast. I'm still going to finish and get it to 100%. And I'm probably going to play again. Or I might take a break and probably play Mario a little bit. And then when New Game Plus comes out, 100% going to be playing it again. It's going to be awesome. I always love New Game Pluses. I did it with Ragnarok because it didn't come out until about a month or 2 after the game initially released. And then after that, I was like, yeah, perfect time to jump back in. I love it. So anyway, now I want to know your comments down below. I want to know, have you picked this game up? Are you playing it? Are you waiting for a sale? Are you going to wait for the PC release? Let me know everything. I'll try to reply to as many as I possibly can. Also, if you happen to enjoy impression videos, reviews, discussions, and guides and more, keep an eye out for a couple of our guide videos on this game, then a like to the video would be awesome, and also a sub would be greatly appreciated. Helps us out a lot. Plus, it's free. Anyway, Anyway, with that all being said, I've been Tallen with Direct Gaming. Thank you so much for dropping by the video, and I hope to see everybody in the future. Hope you have a great day and a great week, and until next time, everyone, Johnny.